Well, it's the end of the third day of the campaign, and we're here on the west side of the board. Here we can see that Lon's corps has gotten across the Saal River and is over here in Rollstadt, and will be moving up the river this way, heading towards this consolidation of forces that we have. Hohenlohe has come down, and he's brought most of his different forces. We have a little bit of what's left of Louis Ferdinand's command, but this group of Prussians is going to kind of try to hold the line here and stop the French from making progress up that way. Now, reinforcements that came in this turn, down at this part of the southern map edge, we have Marshal Augereau with his 7th Corps has come on. I haven't been having very good success with him making his initiative roll, and so he hasn't made a lot of progress up the road. So one thing that I'm trying to do to help out with that is to dispatch Marshal Murat and the reserve cavalry over to that end of the battlefield. Murat, in addition to being able to command the cavalry, can also put into command a corps. So Lon has pretty good initiative, and so he's been able to make his rolls most of the time, but I can use Murat as an army commander to then put Augereau into command and help him move along as well. So between Augereau's corps, Lon's corps, and the cavalry, I'm pretty confident that we can push through what Hohenlohe has in that part. Also, a reinforcement that came in down here along the south map edge is Marshal Ney, and so he'll be coming on. Probably send him up somewhere in the central part of the battlefield, so that I could use him either to turn and get north of Hohenlohe and kind of threaten coming around that edge, or if he's here somewhere in the center, then he can be pushed towards Jena, where the Prussians are starting to concentrate their forces. Now, earlier in the day, we'd had some Prussians here at Oma, I guess. They were completely wiped out. Sackwitz's division was completely eliminated. He was captured. They were surrounded on all sides and no way to retreat. And so I learned the hard way that even being in a good defensive position, the way the combat tables go is to keep pushing your other subordinate units back, and at some point you get surrounded, and the Prussian commanders don't have very good initiative ratings, and so he couldn't really do much about it. That's left a path open, and so the French are heading up. Here's the Imperial Guard, and here's Bernado's corps, Sau's corps, and Davout's corps, and they are all heading up here past Gira, heading across on the road towards Jena, where they'll probably run into Brunswick's forces that have been coming in from the off-map area. I've been able to keep this group of French sort of in command because Napoleon is in the same general area as they are, and he then provides a bonus for them to make their initiative roll. So that's kind of what's going on with the French at the end of the October 11th turn. Now we're looking at things kind of from the Prussian perspective. So we're over here on the west side of the map, south of Kala. And we have Army Commander Hohenlohe here, and a couple of three of his divisions, and then Louis Ferdinand. Because Hohenlohe is here, he can keep those divisions in command, which means that they can fight much more effectively against the French. And that's something that I learned from poor Zeckwitz's destruction. Not being able to respond to the French meant that the French could basically get around, surround, and destroy in detail those divisions. So having Hohenlohe there is going to help. Now over here along the river line of the Saale, there's Jena. Right here, it's a concentration point for Orange's division. We already have some others there, and we have Rukel coming in. They're going to be probably kept as a reserve in this general vicinity. And then Schmetnau's division is marching over basically with Brunswick helping out to keep them in control. They're going to go over here to kind of plug up these gaps across the Saale to hopefully hold up the French or prevent them from crossing there. And then finally, up here in the northern part of the map, we have Kalkruth and his reserve corps, and they are marching over towards Hassenhausen and this area here, basically to plug up that last river crossing. So that's kind of the defensive plan for the Prussians. Try to plug up the crossings, have a concentrated force, and then see where the French make their move and be able to counter it vigorously. Jena is principally a game based on maneuver, being able to get your forces where you want them to be at the critical point in time. And the terrain features have more to do with, or more significance in regard to moving and impediments to movement than necessarily they have to do with an effect on combat. So that's a little bit different from how it is with the tactical level games like the La Bataille series, where the battlefield terrain features have a much more important effect on the actual combat element of it. As I mentioned in a previous video, these different rivers, major rivers, are important for basically preventing any sort of movement across. It's important that you then hold or capture the bridges that go across those rivers in order to get to the other side and be able to ferry your troops across. Even the streams can be an issue because the artillery can't cross streams unless it's at a ford or some similar type of crossing. Now, some other significant types of terrain. Of course, we have our towns. The towns do have a defensive bonus. If you have units inside of them, they can take advantage of that. And the fortified towns have a more improved defensive capabilities. The little villages that are on the map don't really have any impact at all other than just for geographic notation. And then the other types of terrain, such as the forests and the slopes, have more to do with impediments to movement, slowing down movement, maybe some slight defensive benefits for being in the woods, but that's about it.